Why are some of these loss-making companies trying to avoid RTO to bring the company back to health again? Yongtai is a good example. So is it that difficult for a company to go through RTO exercise?
Okay, most of these companies are either struggling or loss-making, so they're not earning as much and all this, and then they're careful not to trigger the RTO threshold, because once they trigger the RTO threshold, there will be requirements on profit track record over 3 to 5 years. And then most of the assets that these companies, they are troubled companies, so most of the assets that they want to acquire would not be able to meet the requirements of an RTO, so they rather prefer to bypass the rules to this diversification avenue.
But the thing is, both diversification and also RTO, ultimately they give the same result, right? Ultimately they want to bring the company back to health again. So is there a simple way for shareholders to choose like which one is actually better for return?
Okay, I think there's no good or bad. Both ways would take into account shareholders' interests. So if it's an RTO, usually the new shareholder would have to do a mandatory general offer. So if the shareholder doesn't agree with the exercise, they would just sell off their shares and take up the offer, right? So in the case of a diversification, the existing rules are already there and it slows down the process of injecting a new business. So it gives enough notice to the shareholders. They won't wake up one day and suddenly see that their manufacturing company has turned into a property company, so it gives at least a year or so.
But so a lot of people actually think that RTO it's actually faster than an IPO, but that's actually not the case. They're almost the same, and almost as expensive as well, right? So, but the thing is, if you go through RTO, it's going to be a lengthy process. So some companies, they are actually right to choose diversification instead of RTO. So you spoke to some of the market observer. Do they think that which one is actually a better choice for the shareholders?
I spoke to a few players. Some of the players say that the rules are too tight and it's a bit difficult for companies to diversify. Like M&A securities say that the rules should be loosened. But speaking to other players, like from the regulator side and the other corporate finance advisors, they say that the rules should be there because it protects the shareholders' interests and ensure quality listings on the bourse. So basically,
But again, if we compare with Hong Kong Stock Exchange, ours is still so much more lenient, right? Theirs are much more rigid. So the people that you spoke to, do they think that we need to have more stringent rules, or is the rules now is good enough for RTO exercise?
Speaking to some parties, they say that most of the investors, and not most, some of the investors and banks actually are pushing for tighter rules. But for now, I think it's okay because it allows enough leniency for companies to diversify, So if we go towards the way of Hong Kong, then if the rules are too tight, it'll be more difficult for companies to diversify, and these loss-making companies or struggling companies, it'll be harder for them to turn around to inject a new business and all that.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.